What is up, dudes and lady dudes? Welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today we've got more Phantom Rage cards because they've been killing it with Phantom Rage cards. I love almost the entire set. Almost. But we got two new cards that I think are interesting, and I wanted to note here. One is 2 days old, but I didn't feel like it warranted his own video. But we do have a new card that I did want to talk about because I think it's like interesting but not great. And the reason I think it's important to talk about because I've been hearing some rumors that this card's kind of getting hyped up a little bit on release, and I kind of want to talk about why. Not that it shouldn't be hyped up at all, but like temper your expectations because like I do think it's not the greatest thing in the world. So without further ado, let's get started here with Warning Point or Pullover. I hope the name of this is Pullover because the artwork on it is awesome. It has so many artworks from like old like Stygian monsters, right? The Stygian tuner and the Street Patrol guy and Tour Guide, I think, in the back. Like pretty cool, right? Or maybe that's Beat Cop. Yeah, I think that's Beat Cop. All right. Anyway, what this card does, it's a normal trap card that reads, when a monster or monsters is summoned face up. For the rest of this turn, those face-up monsters cannot attack, they have their effects negated, if any, and they cannot be used as material for fusion, synchro, exceed, or link summons. Okay, so pretty plain and simple. It kind of has like a trap hole-ish effect. It hits something on summon, negates them, says they can't attack, and then they cannot be used as material for any of those. They can use for ritual, I guess, but that's really the only one. Okay, the pluses for this card are that, like, great, it's like a negate. It's like a negate with the bonus of like not letting them attack, which normally doesn't actually matter that much because a lot of times if you're negating something and making it unable to attack, a lot of times they're just gonna like link it off, right? Like exceed it off, synchro it off, just to get it engrave and then just like go into another monster that can use its effects, that can attack, right? But because of the third effect saying the monster can't be used as material, saying it can't attack is actually a little more like better here, a little more useful, so that they can't just use it as a beater at that point because they are straight up stuck with it. They can't just get it off the field as material for something, which is pretty cool. So I like it in that regard, but I just think like I think the comparison is going to be, oh, this is like impermanence plus no material built into one card. And it is going first. And you have to use it on the field, not in the hand. Like what makes no material and impermanence actual good cards is because they can be used on turn 0. Like on your opponent's turn 0, like to slow them down. This card cannot, and that's where I think it really can like fall through a little bit. So I think it's fine. I don't think it's amazing. The downsides of this card are probably the fact that one, it has to fire off on the summon of a monster or monsters. That's already a downside. It really is, because you miss some things. Like if somebody goes access code talker, this card just does nothing because you can't respond to access code talker because his effect's going to be chain link 1, which means this will not be chain link 1. So and then you can't respond to access code talker's effects. So like boom, you missed him. Which is terrible. So this like definitely misses, and it's just less versatile because you can't just fire it off at any time. I would like it a little more if it had that. And it's just one of those things where like we're at this point in Yu-Gi-Oh where if Konami's going to make a trap card that they want to see play, they're going to have to give it a lot of extra oomph. You know what I mean? Trap trick. Its oomph is that it can get any trap in the game, right? Impermanence, its oomph is that it can work on turn 0 going second, right? Which is where traps have their biggest weakness. Evenly matched, it's such a blowout, and you can use it on your first turn, mainly going second, but still and a huge blowout card. So like those, like they all have that oomph, and even something like Lost Wind and Titan Cider have those effects that like bring themselves back, so they get double use in a grindier match. This card doesn't have that. I would have liked this card a lot more if it had an effect like Lost Wind or Titan Cider where they can come back, or it could have been used on turn 0, but of course it doesn't, and I think that's where this card is just going to lose its power. Going second, this is so bad. Your opponent's already got an established board. They're not going to be summoning anything that's like too incredibly important from that point on a lot of the time, that like this card will actually put in work. So going second is just not that great. Maybe it's something like Trap Tricks just because it does still trigger Sarah, so there's like the bonus application there. But other than that, I think it's like fine. I don't think it's amazing. There's also the bonus that like if you can potentially hit something with this in the extra monster zone and it's like a link monster that doesn't point down, you can lock them out of link monsters, which is actually like kind of funny and cheeky, but like not insane. So I don't know. Like it's fine. I don't think it's crazy, and I don't think it's anything to get hype about like meta wise, right? I'd rather be playing Dimensional Barrier or, you know what I mean, like Artifact Sanctum over a card like this. Like why wouldn't you? So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Moving on to the other card that got revealed, like I think 2 days ago. It's Infernoble Knight General Olivier. So Olivier got its own synchro version, which is pretty cool. He's got a cool design. I'll look at that a little closer. There, he looks dope, as all the Infernoble Knights do. He is a level 5 Fire Warrior Synchro Effect monster with 2,000 attack, 500 defense, so he is a beater. His synchro materials are completely generic, any tuner plus any one or more non-tuners, very nice. And its second effect is a hard once per turn. First effect reads, when this card declares an attack while equipped with an equipped card, you can target a face-up card on the field, destroy it. Okay, that's fine. Like, it used with the battle phase, which is not the greatest. It's not a quick effect, not the greatest. But removal is removal, and especially with like the potential of using this card as like a stepping stone, this could be a really cool card for like grind games, and you'll see what I mean when I show you the second effect, which says, during your turn, except the turn that this card was sent to the graveyard, so on a new turn, you can target one warrior monster you control, special summon this card from the graveyard, but treat it as a tuner, very important, and if you do, equip that monster you control to this card as an equipped spell, and it gains this effect. The equipped monster gains 500 attack. So, pretty much what he is every turn after the turn he's sent to the graveyard, you can pretty much just like revive him by just like equipping any warrior you have, and then he gains 500 attack, and he'll also gain his first effect, right? So, honestly, pretty cool. So, like, the main thing here is like, what I like here is that everybody's really been looking at Infernoble Knights as a super combo crazy, rip 4 cards out of your opponent's hand with 3 negates, game over kind of deck, right? I kind of like this because this card kind of tells me there might be other ways to play the deck, like potentially a more grindier version. You're not trying to set up an impossible board. You're not trying to hand loop your opponent, do any of those shenanigans. But maybe you set up 1 or 2 disruptions that are kind of hard to break through. But if they can, you may have just used this guy just as a stepping stone, because he becomes a level 5 tuner when he comes back, and then he can go up into Charlemagne, which is really nice when he comes back. So that's like really nice as a follow-up play, just being able to crank out Charlemagne and Charlemagne and Charlemagne, or any other rank 9 Crocosaur to draw cards, whatever you want. There's no restriction as far as what you can go into. But other than that, he also comes back as just a 2,500 beater once he comes back, with like a guaranteed way to already just pop a card on the field. Like, he just needs to declare an attack while equipped and pop something, right? Which means you could declare an attack on something you're not even big enough to kill, and because it's on attack declaration, you could just pop that monster you were going to battle anyway, and then get to redeclare an attack. And that affect's not once per turn. So I believe if I'm thinking about this like correctly, you might be able to go attack, pop the monster you're attacking. Because the monster left the field and the attack didn't go through, you get to declare another attack. I might be wrong on that. I don't know about the ruling entirely. And then potentially you might be able to just attack again and then get another pop, because the first effect is not once per turn. So pretty cool stuff. I think this is a cool card. I think it's probably like a one-of, because like once you get engraved, it just cycles itself. So you don't really need more than one. And we already have, I think, 2 like synchro level 5s for the like noble knights in general, other than this card. So like we have other ones, but this is a cool one that like you might just use as a stepping stone turn 1, just to kind of like get you set up for like into Charlemagne. And then for like the rest of the duel, this guy could just be like a really nice grind piece. He turns like any like do nothing normal summon into like him. So like if you drew like Aqua Dolphin later on, or just like had a brick extra to Aqua Dolphin in hand, or like a Squeak Knight, because you're usually trying to pull them out of the deck, you literally could just normal summon them, trade them for this guy, and now he's a 2,500 beater that can potentially pop 2 cards, at least one. Like I said, the ruling is a little blurry to me. I don't know entirely, but he's pretty cool. Like, I think he's interesting, and I think he does help a little bit if you didn't want to build the super crazy combo variant that's ripping cards and making a bunch of negates. If you wanted to make a more like grindier version of this deck, he could be a lot more important there. So guys, pretty cool cards, honestly. Like, let me know your thoughts down below. Let me know what you think on this card specifically, because I really heard there was a bunch of hype around this card, and when I read it, I was like, it's cool. Like, it's a permanence, but better as far as like the effect itself, but it's just slow. I mean, that's really it. And it has to respond to the summon of something. So really held back in those regards. I still think it's like a decent trap. I just think we're probably 4 years too late on a card like this, where it would have been actually pretty good like a couple of years ago. So that's just what I'm thinking here. Also, let me know about this card if you are a fan of Infernoble Knights and you already know what they do. Let me know if you think this card actually has a spot in the deck, potentially, moving forward, once we get all their stuff in Rise of the Duelist. And yeah, that's going to do it for me here, guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more news videos from me. and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.